Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share a powerful model that repeats every single day. It's based on time, the 1 minute time frame, and the very first gap the market creates. Don't just take my word for it. Open your charts and verify it yourself. Alright, let's get straight into it. So, what is the ICT silver bullet? It simply describes a specific time-based liquidity raid and a fair value gap where price makes a small retracement and then delivers a strong impulsive move. The setup I'm giving you today is not based on ICT's key timings. It is based on another timing window that I discovered through my own observations. Still, it follows ICT's official opening time. First, let's look at the core concepts that will be used. You need a fair value gap, a liquidity sweep, and the 1 minute time frame. That's it, nothing else is required. Now let's see how to use it. Step 1 is to mark out your liquidity levels. Both the 15-minute and 1 minute time frames work. Step 2 is to wait for one of these levels to be swept between 6:45 p.m. and 7 p.m. IST, which is 8:15 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. EST. Step 3 is, after the sweep, look for the very first fair value gap that forms after 7 p.m. IST, which is 8:30 a.m. EST, even if it forms exactly at 7 p.m. IST or 8:30 a.m. EST. Step 4 is enter on that gap if it aligns with your direction. If it doesn't, then wait for it to invert and enter after the inversion. Now let's look at an example. Here we had a buy-side liquidity sweep during the key time that I described earlier. Now let's zoom in. Here the first 1 minute fair value gap formed, which was bearish. Since the bias was bearish, we entered short and hit a quick target. Now let's hop onto the charts and look at some examples. So, coming to the charts. First, we will mark this high as our buy-side liquidity level. We also have a swing low, so we will mark this as our sell-side liquidity. Next, I will mark out our key time, which I described earlier. Now, let's drop down to the 1 minute time frame and wait for any of these levels to get swept. Here we see our buy-side liquidity swept during our key time. Exactly at 7 p.m. IST, which is 8:30 a.m. EST, a bearish fair value gap forms. This is the first gap that formed. Since the bias is bearish, we enter short, place our stop above the recent high, and target sell-side liquidity. The market triggers our order instantly and moves straight to our target. Now I also have a bonus tip for you that shows another use case for this gap. Let's say our sell-side liquidity has been swept first. We extend this gap to the right and wait for the market to inverse this same gap. Once the market inverses the gap, we enter long, place our stop below the previous low, and target the next pool of liquidity. Can you see how cleanly the price triggers our order and delivers the target? Look at how many fair value gaps the price didn't even retrace back to. It just taps our gap and hits the target. So, in our next example, we will mark this low as our sell-side liquidity, and we have a swing high, so we will mark that as our buy-side liquidity. Now I will mark out our key time. Since the 15-minute liquidity levels aren't swept during this time, we will drop down to the 1-minute time frame. Here we can see a buy-side liquidity sweep that happens within our key time. Notice how the first gap formed after 7 p.m. IST, which is 8:30 a.m. EST, is bullish. Since it doesn't align with our bearish bias, we will wait for this gap to get inversed. Once the market inverses the gap, we enter short on that same gap, place our stop above the high, and target the sell-side liquidity. And just like that, we get a clean target. That's all you need to become profitable. Simple time and price. Backtest it yourself, don't just take my words for it. So in our last example, we have this low, which we will mark as our sell-side liquidity. We also have a high, which we will mark as our buy-side liquidity. Now we will drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Here I can see another swing low, which I will also mark as sell side liquidity. Next, I will mark out my key time and wait for any of these levels to get swept during that window. We get a buy side liquidity sweep within our key time. Now we only need a gap. You can clearly see that a small bearish fair value gap forms after 7 p.m. IST, which is 8:30 a.m. EST. So we will enter short at this gap, place our stop above the previous high, and target the sell side liquidity. The market instantly triggers our order and goes straight to our target. That's how powerful a time-based algorithm is. Some people will say it's fake, but you can test it yourself. Thanks for watching, traders. I truly hope you learned something valuable today. If you want to take your trading knowledge to the next level, make sure to join my Telegram and Discord community. Inside, you'll get daily market overviews, clean setups, breakdowns, and a community of traders who grow together every single day. And if you're serious about leveling up your skills with personalized guidance, you can message me on Discord for one-to-one mentorship. I'll help you refine your entries, understand timing, and master the logic behind these models step by step. So join the community, stay consistent, and keep leveling up. I'll see you in the next video.